Have you got water leak issues into the boot area of your Citroen C1? Let me show you the 3 most common reasons for water leaks into the boot and how to fix them. Number 1, and probably the least likely, is the hatch seal itself, where the seal contacts the hatch all around the aperture, particularly across the top. On these C1s there is no adjustment to adjust the hatch in and out at the top on the hinges. So have a look round, see if you can see the telltale signs on both the seal, which will show up as a shiny wear line, and on the hatch itself, which will also show up as a wear line, that the seal is contacting the hatch. One way to check that the seal is making good contact with the hatch: take a strip of greaseproof paper, close the hatch and trap the paper between the seal and the hatch, and there should be resistance to pulling it back out. If it pulls out way too easily, then in all probability that portion of the seal is not making proper contact. Another way you could do it is with your hands very gently rub talcum powder all the way around the seal, and then close the hatch very gently so it just latches. Open it again and you should be able to see the white trace around the hatch. Now if you've got an area of poor contact across the bottom, or maybe part way up the sides, you can adjust this latch. It's held in with 2 10mm bolts. If you hold the latch very carefully in position, just undo those a couple of turns, you can move the latch to pull the tailgate closer to the seal and make it tighter on the seal. If you've got an area of non-contact across the top, that's not so easy to deal with. What you could do with a pair of pliers or a pair of pipe grips, after you've removed the seal, put some tape on the grips or the pliers and go around and very gently just bend that flange upwards a little bit to move the seal out towards the hatch. If that doesn't do the trick, then I would suggest adding something like a layer of tape to the glass hatch itself. You could use some black duct tape. Area number 2 is behind the rear light cluster. This area between the panel work and the light cluster is a wet area, and water runs down here off the roof and from the drain channel, and there's a foam seal around the electrical connector that, when the light is in place, makes contact around this aperture. Around this aperture here, where the footprint of the seal is, it's very clean across the bottom, but across the top there you can see lots of spots of dirt. That dirt must have got there by being carried with water. The remedy for this: get yourself some self-adhesive waterproof rubber seal, which you can get from most DIY stores. Lay it around the aperture. Make sure that you've got a nice tight connection there. Make sure it's stuck down properly. Give the panel a clean beforehand. I've done another video for how to get these light units off. I've linked to that in the top right hand corner of your screen. Now the third, and in my opinion the most likely cause of a leak into the boot, is the chimsel. As with the main lights, I have done another video on how to remove this, but as you can see on the unit itself, there is supposed to be a rubber seal that goes all the way around the periphery. On this one it's damaged, albeit across the bottom, but neither is it in very good order across the top here. Water leaks in past this seal and it goes into this cavity here. There's a channel and the water runs to each side of the car. And once the water runs along to the side of the car, on the inside it runs down behind the trim and then drips out of here into this area, runs down and soaks the carpet. I've taken the trim off to allow it all to dry out. I'll show you how to remove that piece of trim in a moment. So to remedy this, simply remove the residue of the rubber seal from all the way around and from round the body aperture. Apply a small bead, the silicone sealer, around the edge of the chimsel housing. Unfortunately, I lost the little nozzle that came with my tube, so I had to just squeeze it straight out of the tube. Put the accessories back into place. Simply put the chimsel back into place very gently. Tighten it down, allowing the silicone sealer to squeeze out. I would suggest that you use black or clear silicone sealer. Allow it to set overnight or for the rest of the day, and then you can use very gently use a sharp knife and trim it off. Now if the chimsel was your problem, or the main light, chances are the water's run down the back of this trim into this area and has come out and has soaked the carpet in this area along with the bottom of this trim. Don't just leave it. Remove this trim and allow it to dry in a breeze or the sunshine. It's held in with 1, 2, 3 fur clips, a push fit clip and a screw. Use a trim removal tool to get the fir trees out. To get the push fit clip out, push the little tag in the middle and it'll pop out like that. The screw is a Phillips number 2. You can lift the trim out. It's got an edge under the seal lip here. Pull it out at the bottom. It's got an edge under the edge of that trim there, and again there. Just pulls out of place. To put this clip back in, push the centerpiece, put it back into place, and then push the centerpiece down so it's flush. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up and I'll see you next time.